Yeah, folks, you're going to have to excuse this. That phone rung and it interrupted my call or interrupted my recording, so I've got to start that second part over. So this is part two of getting an Elmer for deer for Elmer. And so I got Elmer. He'd had his cup of coffee, and I told him, I said, I've got you on tied up out there at the old gap at the line fence goes to the back field. And I said, you get your gun ready and we'll go out there and get it. So, but I said, now if you don't shoot it, I'm going to turn it loose. Because I said, I don't need another deer. I've done got 3 this year. And, but he said, well, I'll go with you. Well, we got out there and the deer was laying down. He said, I told you didn't have one. I said, yeah. I said, he's just laying down there. I said, he'll stand up in just a second, as soon as he hears us. And just we pulled up to the gap pretty close. Why, cut the engine. As soon as we cut the engine off, the deer stood up. He said, I ain't believing this. I said, well, don't matter if you believe it or not, it's true. And I told him, I said, now if you don't shoot it, I'm going to turn it loose because I ain't shooting it. He said, okay. He got out there and he got his hands up there like this with that gun in them. And he looked at that deer in the eye and he took aim on it. And then all of a sudden he started just a shaking like that. And he'd have to drop it down. And he'd get up there again, he'd get to shaking. He done that about 3 or 4 times. He said, Roger, I can't shoot that deer. I said, well, I said, some people can and some can't. And I guess you're one of those that can't, don't like to kill animals and whatever. He said, it ain't that. He said, they're just too pretty. I said, well, I agree with you. I don't shoot them unless I have to get meat. Because I said, I don't shoot them for trophy, I shoot them to eat. And so ended up, I went out and got the rope up, and I told him, I said, you go sit in the car, and I want to pet this deer before I turn it loose, calm him down, make sure he's not up, all messed up in his mind. And so I went over there, and I took the rope off of the fence post, so it would be slack in it. And I just kept getting a little closer, and I had some salt in my hand. A deer love salt, or they love minerals. And I had that salt in my hand, and as soon as I took that, got that salt out of that plastic container I had it in, I had it in a plastic Coke bottle that had been dried out real good. And I had it in there, and I poured that out my hand. As soon as I took that lid off, he was doing like that. And so I just kept getting closer to him with that salt. And when I got over, he licked that salt out of my hand. And while he was licking it out, I took that rope off his antlers just as easy. And he stood there and got the rest of that salt. And I poured out some more, and he ate 2 handfuls of that salt before he left. And when he left, I just patted him on the shoulders. And he never offered to hit me with his horns or nothing. Just walked on down the field. And I told Elmer, I said, now don't tell nobody about this. Because if you do, they'll keep wanting me to do it, and I ain't going to do it no more. I said, because it's not good for the deer. He said, all right. Well, first thing he done, he went and told White Eyebrows. That was his brother. And the next day, Johnny was out there. He said, Elmer told me something, you did something, and I don't believe it. I said, well, about the deer? He said, yeah. I said, hey, I done it. Ain't hard to do, but I don't want to do it again. He said, you do it again for me. Said, I ain't going to shoot it. I just want to see you catch one. I said, all right. So I went through the same process. I had my rope and all my antlers still in a truck or car. I don't remember if I was in the car or truck. But anyhow, I had them. And So I commenced, I told him, I said, you just sit in the truck and car and watch. That way because you don't smell right. And I said, dear, I get one to come out, it might be the same one. But I got to rattling about 30 minutes. I think it took me about 35 minutes on that one. And I got him come up there, and I had that salt bottle sitting on top of that post where that salt would get out. I think I might pour just a little bit out on that post. And anyhow, he come out, boy, he was a winding for that salt. And he got up there almost exactly the same place that the other one was when I roped it, maybe 3 or 4 feet off. And I waited for him to hear something back in the woods and turn his head a little bit. And just as soon as he turned his head to where both eyes was looking the other way and not no way he could see me, I threw that rope around his antlers, and he was on that little 4-pointer. Almost a 5. He had a little nubbin about that long on one side. Would have made him a 5 if he was long enough, but it wasn't long enough. And so, to make a long story short, I turned that loose, and I didn't have to prove it no more because I told him, don't make no difference who you tell, I'll make a liar out of you because I ain't going to show nobody else. And I ain't showed nobody else to this day. But I'm a little too old to do it now. I probably, I've had both shoulders worked on, and I'd probably not be as accurate with the rope because I ain't used a rope in several years. And that was back when my oldest boy was a baby, about a year old, maybe 2 years. So anyhow, I'm going to cut this one off. I've enjoyed telling it because it's brought back some good memories. I like the old boy. He was a good father-in-law. And I'll let y'all go tonight. Try to make somebody smile if you can. And if you do, you never know. It might just change the world. God bless you, and He will if you let Him. I'll talk to you on the next one.